Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Without fire?
Plaster,
The plaster of the roof and wall,
bag, big
bricks,
hair,
chair,
tea,
leathers,
city,
the tree, the electricity,
tube,
the roof, ceiling, wall.
hole,
What about the blackboard?
for water,
What about water?
high,
How about ice?
no electricity, no high,
If you had no electricity in your freezer, you wouldn't have any ice.
sun, moon,
The sun and moon, fire.
we have 5 elements,
We have 5 elements:
earth, water,
earth, water.
going home,
They are always going down.
and fire goes up.
Fire always goes up.
Yes. Always up. Water,
No
no
matter what you
much.
do, it will go up. Doesn't matter what's in the way.
Fire hair
Fire and air
goes up.
go up.
Water of water,
What about
water,
water?
fire, H2O,
Is made of fire in the form of hydrogen and oxygen.
fire,
They are fire.
water of you, whole body,
What about your body?
whole fire, no body,
If you had no fire, you would
no,
have no
type,
life. Fire in the form of temperature.
no fire, you can digest food.
Without fire, you cannot digest your food.
2 fires of fire.
There are 2 types of fire.
Observing fire,
The objective fire,
which is outside.
in the form of light.
A observing fire,
The subjective fire,
which is outside.
in the form of consciousness,
Attention.
attention.
We have 4 Vedas.
We have 4 Vedas.
6
The Rig Ved.
means meditation.
Rig means pulsation.
Fire body made of fire mother.
When the baby's body is in the form of fetus from the father and mother.
1 second. Only hammer.
First, before the body develops, there is only pulsation.
Rig Veda.
That is the stage of Rig Veda.
Enlightenment Isha.
From Rick came the
Isha.
English name Richard
Sick.
and Rich,
And body chapter.
and
Body chapter.
the body develops
Inside. Born.
and is born.
And child. Harmless.
Yet
Harmless.
Samaveda, next Yacha.
Yeah.
Sound comes when the baby is born. But
It's
sound,
higher boom. Teeth in tongue boom.
When the baby takes his first breath and the chest and lungs move,
Good.
that is Yajurveda.
And body Ayurveda.
The body itself is Atharva Veda.
Why?
Why?
It becomes inside you by your body.
Because we recognize you by your body.
Huh? And I come without body.
If I come to visit you without body,
And anybody.
or if anyone visits you without a body,
And you cannot recognize.
you cannot recognize them.
Prayerful study kind of history.
Therefore, the body is the
History.
relatively stationary or unchanging.
Therefore you have full Veda.
Therefore, you have these four Vedas within
Rig
you.
Veda,
The Rig Veda,
Yajur Veda,
Yajurveda, breathing exchange,
and Calm Veda,
Sam Veda, expression communication,
and Ras Veda.
and Atharva Veda.
Who have any questions?
Any questions?
could you talk about the space within consciousness?
When you think without language,
When you think without language,
think. You have 50 milliseconds. You have 50
you have space
milliseconds. Within consciousness.
within consciousness.
Don't believe.
Don't believe this,
See.
but feel
And fight. Highlight.
by the third eye.
See. Fight. Highlight.
See my third eye.
Then don't think.
Don't think,
Don't think and don't think.
don't blink, and don't think. close your eyes.
Do not think anything,
Do not think anything,
but feel.
but feel.
Feel how high.
Open your eyes.
Feel without feel, feel hungry. This is the meaning
This is the meaning
of feel hungry.
of space within consciousness.
By that space,
By this space,
you become here. You become God.
you become God,
And God becomes you.
and God becomes you.
I became you.
I became you,
I became me.
and you became me.
Right now.
It is.
That one, Yuyam Vayam.
Chant.
Yuyam Vayam Vayam Yuyam. Yuyam Vayam Vayam Yuyam. Ityasin Matiravayo. Ityasin Matiravayo. Kinjatam Madhunayena. Kinjatam Madhunayena. Yuyam Yuyam Vayam Vayam. Yuyam Yuyam Vayam Vayam.
Yeah, all okay.
Yuyam Vayam Vayam Yuyam. Ityasin Matiravayo. Kinjatam Madhunayena. Yuyam Yuyam Vayam Vayam.
Meaning.
Yuyam means you, Vayam means we or I. So you are we and we are you. Iti asit mati avayo. This was the understanding between us two. Kim jatam adhuna, what has happened now? Yena, so that it says
You are you and we are.
You are you and Vayam, Vayam, we are we. You are you and I am I. You were me and I was you.
In essence,
In
you
essence,
by benefit, by the means of influences,
by means of
influences,
space,
in
inner space,
I have been quantity, being quantity,
the space within consciousness,
to become to God form,
you transform
into God form.
into Godhood,
A part to God form,
and Godhood transforms into you.
it has a meaning.
In another meaning, the individual I
desire form,
is transformed
you amplify,
into the cosmic I,
and vice versa,
and vice versa.
positive I, and God form is satisfied.
The cosmic I is transformed into the individual I.
It is of this.
This is the meaning of this mantra.
Hatred. Hatred.
This is the meaning of inner space.
You don't feel anything.
Don't believe anything.
What you feel, what you feel for human,
What you feel for 2 minutes.
what have you feel?
What have you felt?
unable to stop thinking.
That.
As long as I breathe, I think.
Thinking without thinking.
You must find thinking without language.
Don't do any thinking.
Don't use any language.
Become like a baby.
Become like a baby.
You are born with right mind.
You are born with that silent mind.
Oh, you have right sight.
You have a birthright to that.
Other mind is not your right.
The talkative mind is not your mind.
For the time being.
It's useful for the time being.
After that you have
After that, you have to go back to your silent mind.
any husband.
Henry could sit up here. It's right, available. It's good for the knees.
I have a very bad back lately.
Please be careful up here.
How many have you filled whole room on his car
How many of you felt the whole room was surcharged
about with anything?
with electricity?
Yes,
Raise your hands.
how many have you can see aura?
How many of you could see the auras?
Only yours.
Well, we were only
Hey.
looking at him.
People think aura must be something very unusual and specific.
I good.
Isn't it?
How many have you
Or
seen?
any aura.
Any color.
Any color means, or any color field.
Or other.
I saw you, Sri Brahmananda. You asked us to close our eyes. I saw you sitting in your orange robes, and there was fire.
When you full fly, how many have had planet sound?
When you closed your eyes, how many of you heard a sound?
7. Vibrate.
Sound vibrating.
Don't heal anybody.
Don't believe.
When heal anybody. Heal anybody.
Don't hear. Heal. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Don't heal anybody. Shout, heading, person and part.
Don't heal
Anybody.
anybody without feeling pulsation first.
Hard bite to kind shit. It's cancer.
Otherwise, you can get that person's sickness.
Always feel a person and part.
Always feel pulsation first.
He.
You feel pulsation,
Time.
then
Sit up. Up.
rub your palms together
Very powerful.
very powerfully.
Very good. Very good.
Very slowly feel.
how many for how you?
How many feel waves?
Any question? Hey.
Welcome back from Harbin, everybody. Those people are still wet and dripping a little bit. They came from Harbin Hospital.
Mother Nature
Mother Nature
work too hard.
works through all.
I want to have a silent mind.
As much as you have silent mind,
Why do I feel mighty? Will I why?
when your mind is preoccupied,
You cannot
you cannot
speak.
feel.
It means
It means
you have no speech.
that you have no inner space.
You cannot become your head.
You cannot become,
So become.
you cannot welcome your guest
Oh, I know.
if you have no space inside your house.
Him there, do not become. Become.
In the same way, you cannot welcome
I will not later.
the operation of Mother Nature
I will have no earpiece.
if you have no inner space.
What is the meaning of divorce?
What is the meaning of divorce?
Husband, wife, I know. I have it.
Husband and wife have no space for each other.
Any friend,
Any friend,
you cannot go become head,
you cannot become
head.
the guest of any friend
You have no
who has no space in their heart or home for you.
and him be.
In the same
you
way.
cannot become God
You cannot welcome God
and President.
and Mother Nature
You have to advise.
if you have a preoccupied
fine.
mind.
Therefore, private head,
Therefore, the Bible tells,
keep active,
be still
and for I am God.
and know I am God.
Be active,
Be still
and know I am that I am.
and know I am that I am.
Why thoughtful,
Why did God tell
I should be active?
to be still?
Why did not that be read the Bible?
Why did not God tell, read the Bible to know me?
Yeah, and environment,
Or read the Ten Commandments?
read Vedas,
Read the Vedas?
read Enlightenment.
Or read the New Testament?
Why? This are things.
Because those are not necessary.
Be active.
Simply be still.
Then, anybody hard by environment,
Then, if anybody asks, why did he give the Ten Commandments,
and Vedas, Bible,
the Vedas, the Bible, so on.
for you, not for him.
Those are for you, not for God.
Be sure. When you see God,
When you see God,
be still.
be still.
When you see anybody,
When you see anybody
pick
else,
up Bible. That's
pick
fine.
up the Bible, Ten Commandments,
Vedas.
the Vedas.
Not for God.
Those are not for seeing God.
For God, I am.
For God,
I am.
you need to feel I am, that I am. Yuyam Vayam. On the full moon night, we have a delightful story.
You will ever find that ever.
You will never find this type of story, so listen carefully.
Because I don't know from I going.
Guruji, the author is telling because he does not know from where this is coming. The experience of enlightenment.
She's laughing.
That is a challenging and charming question. Which is the state beyond the psychosomatic consciousness? That is to say, beyond our physical consciousness, which we have received through our intact brain, our intact mind, and intact senses. In other words, what is the state beyond the waking, the dreaming, and the deep sleep states? Our psychosomatic consciousness cannot work without the trinity of the subject, the object, and the means of perceiving. But the Absolute is beyond that trinity. Should we have a firm conviction that there is a state beyond the psychosomatic consciousness, a state which is operating through the principle of the Trinity in the waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, we cannot have any experience without that Trinity, without the knower, the known, and the means of knowledge. But in the absolute state, there is no Trinity. Therefore, the question arises, what is the criterion for the existence of the Absolute? Does one have to believe in the Absolute, in God or I am? Or is there any direct proof, direct experience of that Absolute I am? No doubt all scriptures, including the Vedas, the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, they are claiming proof that there is an absolute God beyond human experience. But there are many holy scriptures of Buddhism and Jainism which are claiming proof against the existence of the Absolute. The answer to this curious and puzzling question is that there is the Absolute in the form of I am. In any case, there is no question of your having a firm conviction or firm faith, because it is here. You do not have to believe it. It is you. You cannot deny your own existence. I ask you, can our firm conviction or our firm faith change our psychosomatic consciousness into the absolute? There is only one state of absolute I am. The other I ams are only the reflection, that is to say, the doorway of the absolute I am, whether the individual or universal. The absolute is only one, without a second. It is undivided, absolute I am, and yet it seems to be divided into many I ams in infinite beings. That substance, unknowable by any human mind, is the sustainer of all beings, Vishnu. The destroyer as Rudra, and the creator as Brahma. It devours and it generates all beings. It is like the astronomical black hole and white hole. Although Akasha, or space, ether, is all-pervading, yet it appears as if divided into innumerable forms. The fact is that it expands undivided while seemingly divided. In the same way, the absolute I, or Paramatman, is one without a second, although seemingly it appears to be divided. As the Akasha, or space, is the support of all four elements, in the same way the absolute I am, or Brahman, is the support of all individual I ams, as well as the universal I am. That is to say, universal consciousness is the mother of being and becoming. At the time of pralaya, or absolute annihilation, individual I am and the universal I am merge back into the Paramatman, or Brahman. In the creation, they again reappear in the universal consciousness. They are not exterior to the Paramatman in creation, preservation, and destruction. As waves come up and peak and then disappear in the sea, these manifested phenomena and beings are either active or dormant, in the state of waking or sleeping in the universal consciousness.
You cannot think anything without hearing.
You cannot think anything without the Trinity.
What are the
What are the parts of the Trinity?
Brahma,
Brahma, Vishnu,
and
and Shiva.
What body, mind, body,
What is the mechanism of thinking?
how do you think?
How do you think?
You say something,
First you
you
create something,
model.
the generative idea, that is Brahma.
Brahma had 4 heads.
Brahma has 4 heads.
Money,
Money, eating, drinking, enjoying.
trading,
Third, sharing.
hey, who am I?
Fourth, who am I, or self-realization.
Without that, time cannot exist.
Without these 4 heads, life cannot exist.
Money,
Money. Eat, drink, be merry, sharing, and self-realization, or who am I?
He has wisdom, but I put him.
Creative wisdom must have these four things.
It's very easy to be married.
For example, okay, it's very easy to be married,
But not easy thing to highlight.
being married is the creative part, but it's not so easy to be organized, to organize that partnership.
Much.
That is the part of Vishnu, the second part of the Trinity.
And you have many parts. Pepper, tiger.
And then, third, you find you have many obstacles in your
You-
path,
You have to, yeah.
and these have to be destroyed.
So,
That is
Mama Mandu,
the third part of the Trinity, or Shiva.
mind anything,
When you think anything,
really about many of mind.
this Trinity works within your mind,
Although you not feel,
although you do not feel it.
you are present. Body very hard.
How do you spell God? G-O-D.
Very body there.
The G represents the generative or creative force.
You
O, the organizing force.
see
D, the destructive power or force.
T-U-D-R.
G-O-D, God represents that.
For Mama do hey.
Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh.
But you are beyond.
But you are beyond that mechanism. Brahman, or pure consciousness, pure awareness, is contentless consciousness, like the clear blue sky. As clouds appear and disappear in the sky, in the same way, the universe of being and becoming appears and disappears in the universal consciousness. That is to say, the individual and the universal I am appear and disappear in the Absolute, while the Absolute remains ever present, beyond time and space. The Absolute I Am is the light of all lights, and it is beyond darkness.
Our time became our time.
Our life became
I gonna do
like
Munda.
Mullah Nasruddin's.
He got going on the donkey.
Mullah was riding, going on the donkey.
Tommy hard by going.
Someone asked Mullah, "Where are you going?"
Going up.
Mullah replied,
I don't know.
"I don't know.
Tati Tati.
You'll have to ask this donkey."
That's about the size of it.
I don't know. I mean, my body.
The body and mind are the donkey. Ask them. They're running this show. Absolute Brahman remains ever present, beyond time and space. The Absolute I Am is the light of all lights, beyond darkness, beyond human language and knowledge, and beyond the knowable. It is the goal of all knowledge, of all holy scriptures, and it is seated in the hearts of all. He who cognizes the Absolute in his own heart, he is able to realize it outside too. He who has not known it within himself cannot cognize it elsewhere. Therefore, he who feels the Absolute I Am in his own heart, he feels it everywhere.
For that, you must have
inner space. There is only one state, not two. When the individual I Amness is there in universal consciousness, then you will have many experiences. But the I Am and the Absolute are not two. Into the Absolute, the sense of I Am comes, and then the experience takes place. I Am exists on different levels. Although the Absolute is real, the other I Ams are operating as if reflected. When one is selfish, with ulterior motives, then this I Am is individual. When this I Am is unselfish, and it is operating without any ulterior motive, then it is the universal I Am. And when it is operating automatically, naturally, and spontaneously, without even the feeling I Am, without any experience of the Trinity, then it is the Absolute I Am. In the Absolute, there is no individuality, no memory that I am this or that. It is existence without beginning or end. Whatever is happening from the Absolute point of view is very natural, yet very profound, unlimited and expansive beyond the knowledge of individual I Am. Individual being and becoming have a beginning and an end, and are full of various experiences, while the Absolute being is beyond these relative beings, becomings, and experiences. The Absolute, or Para-Brahman, exists beyond time and space. While many incarnations of the Absolute I Am come and go, yet the Absolute remains untainted by all of these incarnations. The Absolute state cannot be attained because it is your state. The witnessing of all conscious happenings in the individual I Am consciousness is the reflection of the Absolute. When the Absolute I Am is not recognized, then the individual I Amness, or Asmita, operates as a threshold or doorway through which to obtain the Absolute state. The first stage of meditation is to meditate on I Am beyond the body and mind in order to transcend psychosomatic consciousness. But to transcend consciousness beyond the psychosomatic level is very difficult. During meditation, sometimes you transcend all boundaries and limitations of the individual I Am and the universal I Am, and you realize the Absolute, like in deep sleep. But this stage does not last too long, because your hidden individual I Am begins to operate, and this individual I Am is your beingness. It is very powerful. Potential knowledge, sometimes dormant, sometimes active, sometimes waking, sometimes buried in deep sleep. But it is the foundation of your whole knowledge, on which depend all the activities of your life. It is running through infinite incarnations. Therefore, it is very difficult to get rid of this individual I am. And I want to illustrate this most complicated subject by the following strange but fit for the full moon story. Hold on to I am. Once upon a time, there was a very holy monk in India. Now, he was all of the time in the state of wandering. He was a wandering monk. And he had a habit to take bong. That is the intoxicating hemp, cannabis indica. For those of you, and I'm sure there are many who have not heard of this, it is a very powerful psychoactive herb. And this bong is prepared by powerfully grounding in a mortar with pestle. And then it is drunk. Oh, in a pestle with mortar. Now, forget it. One day, this monk was tired due to his journey and due to the Indian heat. So he came to rest under the shelter of a big banyan tree. He spread out his carpet and began to grind the bong. Now he was extremely tired due to his journey, and in the extreme heat of the Indian midsummer day, under the shadow of the great banyan tree, he drank that bong and fell into a deep, deep sleep. Now, by the way, some other monk was passing by in the same way, and he recognized the bong which was lying openly. So he borrowed the sleeping monk's mortar and pestle and his bong, and he began to grind. And after drinking the bong, he also fell into a sound and deep sleep, because he too was tired. However, he forgot to return the mortar and pestle to the owner. Now what happened? Soon the former monk got up, relieved of his tiredness, and began to feel on and off the influence of that bong very powerfully. He was physically moving to and fro, back and forth, like a plant. That was physically. What about mentally? Mentally, he was moving like the ebbs and tides of the ocean. Sometimes he was feeling he was the individual I am, in time and space. But other times he was feeling the universal I am. And still other times he was feeling beyond both. He was, so long, absolutely confused between the individual I am, the universal I am, and the absolute I am, like he was swinging to and fro. Well, by the by, on his pleasant journey, he saw next to him lying another monk, who was in the exact same size and shape. He was a ditto copy of him. Now the first monk began to think, if I am that man with my mortar and pestle, then I am still sleeping. But if I am this I am with my carpet, then I am awakened. And if I am beyond both, that is to say, I am that I am, then I am the victim of a dream and hallucination. And it was in this way that the monk was feeling the confusion between the individual, the universal, and the absolute I am. He was alternately passing through that experience with many moods and mudras.
And only that there were two individual I ams, that was the real confusion. One lying there and one lying here.
You can't feel it.
It's pretty good.
You can't feel whole universe.
You can create the whole universe.
The two individual I ams.
Now this story you will have after reaching to the absolute state. It is because you have very deep-seated individuality and personality which are coming from many incarnations.
So it's a good bong hit.
At the end of many incarnations, the man of wisdom is meditating on I am, realizing that cosmic consciousness, or universal I am, as his body of absolute I am. Very rare is that great soul indeed. When you meditate on I am, then you must understand that it is your last prison of the relative body and mind. Otherwise you will not like to meditate on the absolute, because the more one is deified, the more the devilish nature of the body and mind is eradicated. By means of this absolute I am, we come to experience individual and universal I am. But how to come to the experience of the absolute? In other words, how to know the ultimate knower. Vijñātaram are kena vijjanitam.
Vijnaniya.
Vijjaniya. Know to be the absolute I am, or Brahman, that by the light of which luminous bodies, the stars, suns, and moons are illuminated. Know to be Brahman that which cannot be illuminated by their lights. The universal body, mind, and senses. The universe of body, mind, and senses is illumined by consciousness alone. The absolute I am is not part of the experience of the individual I am, because the absolute is the ultimate principle of knowingness. It transcends both the subjective and the objective experience.
Why you
Suppose
you are thinking, this card is king. This card is king. Oh, this card is king.
Suppose this class is a dream.
Then, after awakening,
Then, after awakening,
what will happen?
what will happen to all the other people?
They go away.
Oh, where?
Where?
Are you quiet?
They are in your mind.
I am the whole universe.
In the same way, the whole universe,
Me, I am, with body and mind,
composed of multiple I ams,
feel fine.
is within your mind.
Therefore, I am you, or I think.
Therefore, I am you, and you are me. The universe of body, mind, and senses is illumined by consciousness alone. The absolute I am is not part of the experience of the individual I am, because the absolute is the ultimate principle of knowingness. It transcends both the subjective and the objective experience. Therefore, the absolute cannot be experienced except by beingness, because the absolute you are. Tat tvam asi. Just be in your absolute beingness. You have two monks in this story. The first monk is your sense of individual I am, and the other monk is your mind, which looks very similar. Here in this story,
You are mine. You have made them.
you've outdone yourself, Guruji. Here in this story, the herb is representative of meditation.
Wait for these minds to settle down a little bit.
Really, jumping. The herb represents meditation. When you are advanced in your meditative experience, then you come to know automatically these experiences fluctuating from the individual I am to the universal I am and to the absolute. When you are absolutely established in meditation, then you will come to know that absolute beyond all experience. That is to say, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, the natural knowingness, bliss, and beauty of I am. Om.
Any questions?
Well,
So beingness is not considered an experience.
No, why not? But not my mind intention.
but not by the mind and senses.
That can be seen, but only by sunlight.
The sun can be seen only by sunlight.
Not any other.
You can't use a flashlight to see the sun.
Why not to find peace? Both that, I both that.
You can only feel yourself by yourself.
I can feel sun by sunlight.
As you can only see the sun by the light of the sun.
Any questions?